A lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for them. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been like fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
Boosie has been dealing with serious troubles for a long time, but now it seems like things are really catching up to him. The federal authorities are coming down hard, and his recent gun charge has turned his life completely upside down. Reports came out that he could face up to 10 years in prison. As soon as that information spread, Charleston White showed up out of nowhere, the biggest critic in the rap world. The moment Boosie's situation appeared on news sites, Charleston went online acting thrilled, like it was the best day ever.
That newborn baby won't get the Boosie, won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail!
He was grinning, telling funny stories, and boasting about how he had been expecting this to happen. He made it clear that he did not care if Boosie ever got out of prison. It was harsh, but that is just how Charleston operates. He loves drama, and this felt like his biggest win. Now, here is the complicated part. Boosie had already shared with his supporters earlier this year that he was worn out from the battles and prepared to agree to a deal with prosecutors.
Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been like fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
He mentioned that he had faith in God, but it was obvious the legal fight was draining him. Keep in mind, this exact gun accusation was thrown out once before in 2023. At that point, everyone believed Boosie was finally safe, able to concentrate on his songs, his loved ones, and keeping a low profile. But the federal team came back around by 2024, revived the same accusation, and charged him once more. This round, the pressure became overwhelming, and Boosie gave in, stating he was finished spending time in hearings. He shared on X that he believed God does not make errors and he was set to face whatever came next. That was not a regular update. You could sense the tiredness in each part of it.
Attacking Kanye because of the
Nah, it's Kanye West, it just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, you know, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. You can't take no risk of losing this.
For supporters who have stuck with Boosie since his early days in Baton Rouge, understand he has always lived dangerously. Legal battles, conflicts with others, and even medical issues. He has avoided all sorts of dangers, from actual threats to courtroom ones. But this situation stands out. A 10-year term is a serious punishment, and it hit him hard. The Boosie people saw on his accounts was not the bold guy who usually responds to critics. This was someone who appeared tired out, close to giving up, like his energy to push back was gone. While his followers filled his comments with support and good wishes, Charleston White was on the internet celebrating as if he had hit a big win. He started a live session with a huge smile, claiming he had seen this coming for a while and was excited to see Boosie struggle. On top of that, Charleston went too far by stating he wished Boosie would never return to his family. That is extreme, even for him, but acting outrageous is what keeps people talking about him.
Because, you know, my opinion can send me to prison. So I ain't really, you know, I ain't really got no opinion on him, you know, once you go to threaten people's kids, talking about you gotta lie. So, you know, I ain't the one gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, you know, certain people you can't really express opinions on, and he one of those. You can't express how you feel because you might end up in prison. And I ain't getting tricked.
Adds more intensity to all this is that Charleston's issues with Boosie did not appear suddenly. This tension has been building for a while, and Charleston always seemed ready for Boosie to make a mistake. Their problems go back to the end of 2022, when Kanye West caused a big stir by wearing that well-known White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie was quick to comment, saying it showed no respect to black people. And truthfully, a lot of folks felt the same way. But Charleston turned it around. He got on the web attacking Boosie for commenting on Kanye at all. From that moment it became a full conflict. Charleston did not limit it to criticizing Boosie. He made it worse than expected, pulling in Boosie's son, Tutti Raw, and even T.I.'s son, King Harris. He insulted their looks, claimed they could not defend themselves, and suggested they would land in prison someday. That is when everyone saw that Charleston was not simply chasing attention. He was the kind who attacks personally, going after relatives to hurt more.
Boosie, you done got too much. You done let these niggas play you too motherfuckers. This internet dumb and bitch. Say what Lil Tootie gonna do now? What Lil Tootie say? Listen, VladTV. Vlad post everybody going to jail but Boosie. Somebody tag VladTV.
People in the community were shocked, and they expected Boosie to respond strongly like he usually does. But he surprised them by staying quiet. Instead of reacting angrily online, Boosie handled it wisely. In a talk with Tony the Closer, he said that expressing his thoughts too freely could quickly put him in jail, especially with kids involved.
Waiting for the FBI to send me the right kind of number, because I'm finna make a report on your motherfucking people. And you make the man call your name specifically. The promoter specifically said your motherfucking name, Lil Boosie. He implemented you and implicated you. Finna go to jail, back to jail. You gonna be on your knees, but them knees gonna be.
So he stayed calm, explaining he would not allow Charleston to trick him into acting foolishly. That move revealed a new aspect of Boosie. He was not afraid, just careful. He understood Charleston was trying to make him lose control, but he would not let that happen. Even so, the strain was clear to anyone paying attention. By the start of 2023, the situation grew more intense. Charleston was already mocking T.I. a lot about his supposed paperwork event, and that is when Boosie's son Tutti reached his limit. Tutti responded by calling Charleston an old troublemaker. He even told him to drop dead, and Charleston, staying true to form, did not ignore the comment. Instead, he made it worse. He did a live video saying, "I hope your dad passes away from his diabetes. I hope they skip sending him his medicine 1 month. Who talks like that?" It went beyond joking. It was real anger directed at Boosie using his own kid. Then, in an even tougher turn, Tutti got arrested that same month on a weapon charge. As soon as that story came out, Charleston was online claiming he caused it. He boasted about contacting the authorities, sharing photos, and alerting the Public Safety Office. He also called Boosie a killer who had done it 6 times and used young people for his bad actions. Those were big claims with no evidence, but Charleston said them boldly enough to make them memorable. By then, their disagreement had moved from online fun to actual real-world effects. Charleston was not only talking, he was working to ruin Boosie's life and his son's as well. Just as it seemed things could not get more complicated, 2023 brought more problems for Boosie. Less than 3 months after Charleston targeted his son, Boosie got arrested in San Diego right after a legal session. It felt like the legal system was ready to grab him again, and Charleston quickly made it his own show. He went live on Instagram acting like a speaker, claiming this was part of a higher plan. He compared Boosie to Daniel facing lions, as if jail time was some kind of deserved outcome. It was a new level of rudeness. Some supporters thought he was just playing around. Others believed he meant every word. Either way, Charleston turned Boosie's tough time into material for his audience. That is how he makes his living, turning other folks' hard moments into his jokes. By summertime, the criticism had become so strong that Boosie could not stay silent forever. He finally spoke out on VladTV. During that discussion, his annoyance was obvious. Boosie directly said he did not want Vlad to talk with Charleston anymore, especially after the comments about Tutti. But again, Boosie made sure to say he was not afraid of Charleston. What he was focused on was staying out of trouble. That has been his top goal from the beginning. He would not let anyone push him into words that could extend his jail time. Even with his calm approach, it was clear Charleston was bothering him constantly. Whenever Boosie's name made the news, Charleston was there too, talking non-stop and changing the details. Then, at the start of 2024, the conflict spread into online trends in a surprising way. Aiden Ross, a major online broadcaster, had set up to have Boosie on his show. That could have been a big deal. Boosie reaching a huge audience on that platform. but Charleston's involvement came up again. Boosie chose not to join because he wanted no connection to Charleston's issues. Soon after, Ardin changed the story and posted that he rejected Boosie to stay loyal to Charleston White. That false claim spread fast across the web. Folks began making fun of Boosie as if a broadcaster had turned him away, when really he was avoiding Charleston's influence. The mess grew so large that DJ Vlad stepped in. Vlad criticized Ardin sharply, calling it silly to support someone like Charleston who had actually spoken positively about Hitler and questioned the Holocaust. Vlad, pointing that out, highlighted how risky Charleston's impact had become. He was no longer just a web critic. His reputation had grown so much that young broadcasters, artists, and attention seekers were using him to gain popularity. Even those not connected to Boosie were jumping in to benefit from Charleston's fame. That shows how strong his presence had gotten. But Charleston kept adding to the trouble. In March, he got back online saying Boosie was telling event organizers not to hire him. Naturally, Charleston made that into a long complaint, claiming Boosie was sending warnings and that he had already contacted federal agents. He was proud about being prepared to get Boosie in more trouble, treating the FBI like his protectors. To make it hurt more, he brought up Boosie's health problems, making rude remarks about his diabetes and using it as a joke. That is Charleston's method. Strike in sensitive spots, keep it as direct and individual as he can, and stay in the center of attention. This was not empty talk either. Boosie himself said he was receiving calls from guys already in prison asking when he would arrive. Picture that, sitting in your house, facing a possible federal punishment, and people locked up are reaching out like they have a spot ready for you. That is mental pressure. Charleston knew what he was up to. It went past simple criticism. It was about building stress, making Boosie sense the end was near before he even entered custody. And now it turns even more serious. Rumors spread that perhaps Boosie did not want a complete legal process. He just wanted to finish it. And really, who could fault him? Consider if Charleston appeared at the hearing. If Charleston White got the opportunity to be there, you know he would make the entire event a big show. He is the sort to gesture at people, tell jokes to the decision makers, then go outside and tell reporters, "I helped send Boosie away." That is not exaggeration. That matches Charleston's usual actions. He boasts about reaching out to police, arranging setups, and even shares that he gave statements as a teen. That is another detail from Charleston's past that keeps coming up. At age 14, he was involved in a theft where another young person shot a guy named Michael Levy. Rather than staying silent, Charleston gave a statement against his partner, Antoine Doolittle. In community rules, that is the worst kind of disloyalty, getting called an informer. Though he was young, folks never forgot it. But Charleston does not avoid it. He stands by it. He says, "I was a kid. I was in the room. I shared the facts." That is not informing. That is staying alive. Lately, video from that old youth case came back out, and the web exploded again, labeling him two-faced. People said, "How can you mock artists for cooperating when you did it to it?" But Charleston stood firm. He said he never followed community rules and does not worry about who gets upset. That is what sets Charleston apart. He is hard to touch because he follows his own guidelines. He will criticize you for cooperating while showing off his own records. That inconsistency keeps viewers hooked, even if they dislike him. So, looking at everything, Boosie's agreement to the deal, his worn-out attitude, the web talk, and Charleston's ongoing show, it is clear why Boosie wanted to avoid the full process and accept the offer. The worst scenario for him was being in a hearing room while Charleston made it a spectacle. Boosie was not avoiding the rules. He was steering clear of the disorder Charleston would create there. And that is why this conflict runs deeper than basic criticism. It is individual. It is complicated. And it is taking away Boosie's calm right now. Boosie's entire situation feels unstable, and Charleston White is enjoying it like prime viewing. As soon as news came out that Boosie was considering the deal, Charleston appeared on the web. For him, this was not simply another artist making a mistake. This was payback, straightforward. He did a live session boasting that all his comments over the years were proving correct. All the criticism, all the rude words, all the predictions that Boosie would fail. In Charleston's view, this was the ultimate proof he was right. He behaved as if the community had awarded him for being accurate. That is why Charleston's joy hurts so much. Boosie had not even fully accepted his own path. And there is Charleston celebrating his troubles like a gathering. He directly stated he had been looking forward to this exact time, as if he had hoped for Boosie to return to prison. That shows this conflict is no longer about attention. It is personal. Charleston has focused on Boosie since 2022, and each time something negative occurred, he showed up to make it worse. From mocking Tootie's arrest to joking about Boosie's health to contacting authorities whenever possible. It seems he will not stop until Boosie is gone for good. But here is something important. Not everyone finds Charleston funny. Opinions in the community are divided. Some say Boosie caused his own problems. They point out that after years of avoiding accusations, being rude online, and acting without care, it was bound to happen that authorities would trap him. For them, Charleston is just voicing what others have thought quietly. But on the flip side, those who support Boosie strongly see him as someone who has survived tough times and kept going. To those followers, Charleston appears more like someone filled with envy, fixated on pulling down another black man. And that discussion is happening now in local spots, online shows, and response areas all over. One fact stands out: if Charleston is this vocal while Boosie is still somewhat out, picture the show if the court gives him that 10-year term. Charleston would see that as his own win event. He would appear on every site, broadcasting live, yelling, perhaps even opening drinks. That is how committed he is to making it sting, and it is possible he would keep going further. Charleston gains from others' difficulties. The stronger the responses, the more drive he has, and it just continues. At the same time, Boosie is relying on his beliefs, but his statements reveal a guy who is drained. His updates about having faith in God do not match the confident Boosie that supporters remember. They come across as preparation for bad news. And with Charleston constantly talking, authorities watching closely, and the web divided between criticism and support, finding any quiet is tough. This goes beyond just time in custody. It is about a reputation under pressure, about if Boosie can recover or if Charleston's comments will overshadow his work forever. To say it directly, this is one of the most intense rivalries in rap today because it is not based on music tracks. It is not based on neighborhood fights, and it is not even based on cash. It is based on making someone look bad. Charleston White set out to shame Boosie publicly at every chance, and now with the chance of 10 years away, Charleston is behaving like the top figure online. But there is a twist. If Boosie does end up inside, that could turn against Charleston, because when the system locks up an artist, they often return even more popular. Consider that. Time away has oddly helped restart careers for many performers. And if Boosie returns after 10 years, tougher and smarter, Charleston's joy might not last. For the moment, everyone is waiting. Boosie's deal is ready, the community is talking, and Charleston is watching closely like someone ready to take advantage of any weakness in his image.